It's a very special day. Well, good
Yes.
evening, everyone. Welcome to our Board of Education meeting. At this time, I'd like to call meeting to order. Roll call, please, Danielle.
Dr. Rios,
Present.
Vice President Mendoza,
Present.
Board Clerk Yu,
Present.
Board Member Dr. Apodaca,
Here.
Board Member La,
Yes.
Board Member Nishi,
Present.
Board Member Say.
Present.
Thank you.
We welcome public comments. Comments submitted will be presented during the public comments section, and which is limited to 1 hour, and each speaker to one presentation of 5 minutes unless the board wishes to waive the time limit. Those who have a group concern are encouraged to select a spokesperson to address the board. Comments submitted regarding a specific agenda item will be presented following the staff comments and prior to the board's discussion and taken action. At this time, I'd like to ask Board Member Law to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. You could all stand and place your right hand over your heart, please. Oh, I go out of steam. Where'd I go? Down there somewhere. Okay, please follow me. I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
This
to the
is not, this
flag,
is not a choir. We do it all at the
To
same
the flag
time.
of the United States of America.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
One
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, this evening we will begin with recognitions. Dr. Sue will ask, well, let me call on Dr. Sue.
Thank you so much, President Rios. Tonight, we want to recognize our retiring board member, Mr. Maynard Law. And I know that there are a number of speakers who would like to show their appreciation for his time on the board for over 13 years now. But as you all know, a picture, a photo is worth 1,000 words. So at this time, we'd like to show a slideshow regarding Maynard Law.
This is Danielle. The slideshow will be available in just a moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it going to be on the big screen? That's so small. I need a menu for the class.
Oh, my goodness.
A younger version.
Nice ears.
Is there music to this?
I was over there.
Oh,
San Francisco.
oh, yeah. Oh, Tim.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Thank you for years of service on the school board.
What are we watching now?
Thank you, Maynard, for all your years of service. I believe it's 13 years now on our school board. I know there are many other speakers who would like to be called on this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sue. Yes, we welcome all of our dignitaries, and I apologize, I seem to be having video issues. At this time, I'd like to call on Linda Johnson, Field Deputy, County of Los Angeles, for Supervisor Janice Hahn.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. I'm Linda Johnson, Field Deputy for Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn, who represents the 2 million residents of the 4th District, including the families of the ABC Unified School District. The supervisor thanks you, Maynard, for your many years you served on the board representing ABC. As a senior board member, you have served as a mentor to other board members. As a former educator, you brought an educational perspective to the board. The supervisor thanks you for your service to the students and families in the district. Supervisor Hahn wishes you the best in your retirement.
Thank you. Next, we have Viviana Gomez, Field Representative, Office of Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia.
Hello, everyone. Not sure if this is working. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
So is it okay if I combined the two? Is that okay? Okay. So for both
Yes.
Madam Vice President Letty Mendoza and Board Member Maynard Law, and this is from Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia. As your time on the ABC Unified School Board draws to a close, I wanted to express my sincere gratitude for your services, the time, talent, and expertise you two have given ABC Unified School District through your active participation on not only the board, but on several different committees as parents and volunteers in your community have made all the difference for the students, the staff, administration, and community beyond. From a former teacher to 2 teachers, I know that the work you do has not been easy, but has always been done with your students as a priority. Your advocacy for them throughout your time as board members is a testament to your dedication and commitment to our mutual community. Thank you, Vice President Letty Mendoza and Board Member Maynard Law for your contributions, time, and efforts through serving on this board. I wish you both nothing but the best in all your future endeavors. Best wishes, Assembly Member Cristina Garcia, representing the 58th School District, or 58th District. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have from the City of Artesia, the mayor, Ali Tasht.
Thank you, Madam President. And if you don't mind, I'll combine the both, just like Viviana did, with your permission.
Yes.
The first one, thank you very much. The first one is for, and we have a proclamation here. As everybody can see, it is for Board Member Maynard Law. On behalf of the people of Artesia, the City Council hereby commends outgoing board member Maynard Law for outstanding leadership during your tenure on the board. We appreciate your dedication to staying true to the ABC Unified School District mission to develop a community of lifelong learners, creative thinkers, and responsible individuals by providing innovative and high-quality education program in a safe and supportive environment, signed and sealed on the day of 17th November by the Mayor and the City Council. The second proclamation I have is for Vice President Letty Mendoza. On behalf of the people of Artesia, the City Council hereby commends outgoing board member, Vice President, Madam Letty Mendoza, for the outstanding leadership during your tenure on the board. We appreciate your dedication to staying true to the ABC Unified School District mission to develop a community of lifelong learners, creative thinkers, and responsible individuals by providing innovative and high-quality educational programs in safe and supportive environment, signed and sealed on the 17th day of November 2020 by Mayor and City Council members. I wish you both very best and thank you for your service for both of you. Thank you, and on behalf of City Council, once again, wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have from the City of Cerritos, Mayor Naresh Solanki.
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of Cerritos City Council, I would like to congratulate Maynard Law upon his retirement from the ABC's Unified School District Board of Education. I'm honored to recognize Maynard for his distinguished service on board since 2007. Maynard has worked with administrator, teacher, staff, parent, and community to make excellent ABC school even better. He has provided effective leadership to ABC Unified School District Board and his dedicated service in appreciating the community. The City of Cerritos is honored to present a proclamation to Maynard Law in a recognition of his dedicated service to ABC's Unified School District Board of Education. There's a proclamation. Congratulations, Maynard, and the best of the luck. And this time, should I also do the Letty Mendoza?
It is up to you, Mayor.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that too. On behalf of, again, Cerritos City Council, I'm delighted to honor Leticia Letty Mendoza for her dedicated service to ABC Unified School District Board of Education since 2015. Letty has been very involved in supporting the ABC Unified School District as a board member, parent, volunteer, and sponsor for ABC Fund Run for the ABCUSD Foundation. She has also served the community as a co-founder and president of Southern California Lead Foundation and as a member of Artesia Parent Volunteer Group. She is a second-generation educator and has provided excellent leadership to ABC Unified School District Board. Our community thanks Letty for her contribution to ensuring local students receive an excellent education. The City of Cerritos is honored to present a proclamation to Letty Mendoza in recognition of her dedicated service to ABC Unified School District Board of Education. And congratulations, Letty. We will deliver this to you in school district. Thank you.
Thank you. We do appreciate all our dignitaries. We do have two separate presentations, but we absolutely understand that you may have other time commitments. Next, we have, now I can say, my mayor from the City of Lakewood, Mayor Todd Rogers.
Thank you, Madam President. It's an honor to be here tonight. I do have another meeting to go to, so if it pleases the board, I'd like to make both presentations at the same time.
Yes, please.
I bring greetings on behalf of the entire Lakewood City Council. I know that Councilmember Ari Pay and Vice Mayor Jeff Wood are logged in and watching the proceedings tonight. And I also bring greetings and congratulations from Councilmember Vicky Stuckey, our newest council member, and Councilmember Steve Croft, who have other commitments tonight. I think they're zooming with other organizations right now. But we want to join in congratulating Maynard on his retirement. We've known him for a long time. He's been a great partner for us, and we wish him well into his retirement. We also have a proclamation for him that we'll be sending over that I was honored to sign on behalf of the entire City Council, and I won't bore you with reading it tonight, but hopefully you'll enjoy the fine words that our staff put together. For Letty, we also appreciate your partnership and your lifetime of community service. We really do appreciate your outreach and the relationship you established with the Lakewood City Council and all that you've done on behalf of our Lakewood children, in addition to your partners on the board. So on behalf of all of us in Lakewood, all 80,000 residents, congratulations to you both. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. And please call on us if we can ever be of assistance. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Next, we have retired board member Olympia Chen.
Thank you, Madam Rios. While serving on the board, it was my great pleasure and honor to work with Maynard. Maynard has the highest integrity, always truthful and honest. Sometimes he offended some people, but he would not change what he represents. And Maynard also has the courage to insist and fight for what is right. What he stands for is the best interest of the school district, and that's his highest principle. And when it comes to time to vote, there was never a surprise, because you always know what he means, what he stands for. Okay, Maynard also has a sense of humor. He made board meetings light and interesting, even though sometimes they are not really that funny. Okay, being honest, Maynard was is also very compassionate. He always has this big smile when he sees children doing the best they can, and also seeing children improve. And I think he's so compassionate, also so patient, is because of his special ed background, special ed teacher background. And now it's time for Maynard to join the retired board member club. I do wish, Maynard, you will enjoy your grandchildren even more and enjoy your Chinese cooking using lots of gingers. And also, I also want to point out that for Maynard's extensive community involvement, I just want to mention one thing. He was president of Optimist Club, I think more than once. And his biggest accomplishment or contribution to the school district was to connect the Optimist Club and the school district and sponsored the Science Olympics. I hope it's still going on. And Maynard, the best luck to you. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also see that we have representatives from Cerritos College. I see, would you like to make a presentation, please?
All right. So Marissa told me to do Maynard first. So Maynard, on behalf of Cerritos College, and I want to thank you because you always support Cerritos College. Thank you so much. I also want to represent the parents of ABC district. All my 3 kids are ABC product. Thank you so much. And ABC is a great school because you're great leadership. Thank you so much. And I hope you're going to have a good time with Pat at home and, you know, enjoy your retirement. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. As you know, your colleague, as a parent from the ABC district. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shinlu. Next, we have from our retired board member, Celia Spitzer.
Hi there. I don't know if my picture is my picture showing up?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay, it doesn't on my screen. Well, many of you know, and for those of you who don't, Maynard and I and our families have been friends for over 40 years. So a lot of the time on the board was preceded by that personal relationship. But congratulations on 13 years on the board, a year longer than you signed up for. And 8 of those years we served together. Maynard over the years has gone to many, many school visits, concerts, sports events, especially the track meets, which in conjunction with the Optimists, which has already been mentioned that he is a very active member that he helped put on for our students. Going on, high school graduations and thousands of hands shaken, but sadly not this past June. So you got to rest your right hand. As board members, we and our spouses attended many California School Boards Association and National School Boards Association conferences. And in doing so, while you and I, Maynard, were at the various events and workshops, Pat and Howard did a lot of sightseeing. And I think they had a really good time together as well. Now you can let Brad take your seat, but not really your place, as you have brought your own wonderful personal style, experiences, and capabilities serving all ABC students and the students, the teachers, the administrators, and in fact, the entire ABC community, covering, as most of you know, all or parts of 6 cities. One of the things that I remember that we worked through together, and you and I particularly closely, was the trustee area stuff that we did and the 25 maps that were considered during that time, which was pretty remarkable. And as I found out after 16 years on the board, it is hard to completely let go, but eventually, but don't ever completely let go of this district. And I'm sure you won't, especially while your grandchildren, or 2 of them, are ABC students, which I know they are now, and you're watching them move on through the grade levels. So enjoy your retirement, but stay involved and in whatever way works best for you. And I have my partner in crime, who I think just wants to say hello and good luck. So here's Howard.
Hello.
Thanks, Howard.
Anyway, enjoy. And I see you have a nice jacket and tie and shirt on. I have no idea what's on the part we can't see.
Oh, he put long pants on.
I put long pants on just for this occasion.
Oh my goodness sakes. Anyway, congratulations on just a wonderful job that you've done for all of these years. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have incoming board member Brad Beach.
Maynard Law, my neighbor, my friend. I grew this beard out in your honor. I've noticed in your photos recently, it's been a goatee, but I still remember you in the early days with the full beard, and I loved it. I'm also wearing a black suit with a yellow tie, which is representative of your yard signs, which were yellow and black, and they stood out for miles, it seemed. I want to bring in a couple special guests real quick to say a word to you.
I would like to thank Mr. Law for his hard work that he put into the ABC School Board. Thank you again for your service.
Oh.
Maynard, I've known you for many years. And
Who's taking my place, you or your kids?
I thought you'd like that. I've known you for many years. I wanted to thank you for your service. I've respected the work that you did on the board and also your work with the Optimist Club, which benefited ABC kids a lot of times. I saw you at Nixon almost daily for your grandchildren pickup, and I really appreciated that you always listened to my concerns when I was talking about anything going on in the district. You also sat down with me when I wanted to run for trustee area 4, gave me your advice and also your endorsement, and I greatly appreciate that. You're an honorary watchdog, and I reached out to Dr. Tracy today, and he actually wanted me to tell you these words. We at Nixon will miss him greatly and hope he will not be a stranger. So when things open back up, they want to see you at the school. And Maynard, I want to wish you well in your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Next, we have the ABC Education Foundation Board of Directors, Dr. Bob Hewlett.
Hewlett.
I wasn't really representing the foundation. I was just coming on as a friend of Maynard. But since you gave me the intro, let me just put a plug in there for the foundation and the hard work that it does on behalf of the kids of ABC. As far as you, Maynard,
Careful.
well, no. I actually went through the Janis Joplin songbook and found a couple of lines that are just perfect for the occasion. But then the more we get into it, the more I think, well, maybe this won't work after all. And so my other point was that I was hoping to get you a proclamation, but I couldn't have one because I'm a former everything. I spent 25 years in elective service, starting with the ABC School Board, as a matter of fact, which people tend not to remember. But so what I did is, like any good American citizen, I went to Amazon Prime and I went to the website and have ordered a proclamation from Proclamations R Us, a proclamation just for you, Maynard, that should be delivered by one of those smiling guys in a truck before too long here. And the proclamation has got just basically 4 whereases that I'll kind of recapitulate here. And first off, there's a thank you for your excellent A+ 13 years of service, and the excellent A+ needs to be exemplar, needs to be somewhat filled out by recognizing the fact that you did your homework, you asked questions, you didn't play gotcha from the board table, little things that after 25 years of sitting on your side of the table are very important, and you recognize that in your colleagues. And so there's your first kudos. The second one is you stayed the course. It's been said before that you had pretty much a good sense of where you wanted to go, and you were strong and stayed that course. You were not one who would the last one to whisper in your ear would get your attention, if you know what I mean. Number 3, whereas that you were always in support of the staff. You always were backing, and many conversations I had with you, you recognize the contributions of staff members and how much it really meant to you, and it's a memory you'll carry with you, believe me. And the last one is the most important one, is that you're always put students first, whereas you were always conscious of the contributions and the responsibilities that you had for the students. It was kind of unfortunate not to see any students, at least that I recognize, in the little film they had of you at the beginning here, because that was so much of your contributions was always with the focus on delivering the goods for the kids. And so that's the end of the whereases, and the therefore is basically thanks for 13 years of service, Maynard, and you've done all the above, and you've been very helpful to our community. Thanks, Maynard.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. At this time, we will hear from President of ABCFT, Ray Gare.
Right. On behalf of the ABC Federation of Teachers, I'd like to congratulate Maynard Law for his 13 years of service. We talked to Richard Hathaway, and he created a nice plaque that we will make sure that you get. And at the top, it says he believes that continuing strong partnerships among parents, teachers, and administrators, employee groups, and the school board is a priority. And over the 13 years that we've had a chance to work with him, he's done all of those things. And being on the board is more than just taking pictures. It's about dedication, time, and constant learning. And Maynard's he was a teacher, and he taught, and he learned then, and he was just ferocious in his appetite to learn about the school district and governing on the board. And so we really appreciate the contributions that he's done for students and for teachers and staff in ABC. My fondest memories of we're just a throne's throw away from him at the union office, and so we'd have a slow day, and all of a sudden Maynard would walk in the door, and we'd have excellent conversations about some of the things that were happening in ABC. And I always appreciated those days that he stopped by. And you know, we know that he's just over the fence, and I'm sure we'll run into him now and again. And it's good to hear that you know, Brad's already got the beard, and we'll get him some glasses, and he's going to fit right in. So we appreciate that. So Just want to thank you on behalf of all the ABC teachers and nurses for your commitment to ABC and the community. Thank you, Maynard.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you. Next, we have Beth Brave representing ABCMA.
Good evening, President Rios and esteemed board members and Dr. Sue. I'm Dr. Beth Bray, and I'm the past president of the ABC Management Association. I want to thank you for the opportunity tonight to speak on behalf of the members of the Management Association. We truly want to give our deepest thanks to Mr. Law for his 13 years of service. Since we're in a virtual world, we did take the opportunity to send the gift of appreciation today. He should have received it, hopefully today. I want to thank him so much for the 13 years of service and unwavering support to our students and our families in ABC. We, as the Management Association, declare him a champion for children, and we know that whatever he does in the future, he will continue to be so. Thank you so much, Maynard.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, the flowers are right behind me.
Can you see him?
Thank you, Dr. Bray. At this time, I usually am the last to speak, but because we also have a presentation for Maynard, I just want to say a few words before I let my colleagues speak. Few heed the courageous call to public service. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge Mr. Law's dedication and longtime service to the ABC community. On behalf of the board, we would like to present you with a token of our appreciation and wish you much joy in your retirement from our board. You will.
This is the part that my wife is supposed to get it out, whatever that is, in the box out.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Here it comes. Here. The board presents this to you, Mr. Law.
I'm not sure if this is your letter or not. Did you write a letter too?
It's from the board.
There you go.
Okay, I have to read this, I guess. Dear board member Maynard Law, our great something of wisdom, our great source of wisdom is flying off to brighten and to better things. We wish you the world of happiness. Thank you for your endeavors. And the box is.
I didn't let him open it.
Oh, wonderful. We wanted it to be a surprise.
Is this from Amazon?
This is a surprise.
Oh my goodness, I can't get it out.
There.
It is something in here tightly.
See how he is at Christmas? No, here, wait.
Well, I can let the board start to speak, and then you can present it to us when it's ready. Or show us.
It is.
The styrofoam. Okay.
All right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Again, a small token of our appreciation. So at this time, I'd like to call on my colleagues, Vice President Mendoza, to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam President. As Maynard gets his gift out, Maynard, I just want to say thank you for the 5 years that I served with you on the board. We didn't always agree on everything, but we got the work done. And I always looked up to you because you were the veteran board member when we got on, along with Olympia. So I just want to thank you for your guidance, for your leadership, and for always being supportive of our students in the school district. Thank you, Maynard. Enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Letty.
Next, we'll hear from Board Clerk Yu.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. It's a globe, Maynard.
It's a globe.
Yes, show it to us again.
Hold it up.
If we didn't have what we have right now, we could actually travel, but.
And here's the stand.
Yes.
And the stand has a, I have to put it in the light.
Graving.
Yeah.
Maynard Law,
Well,
ABC board member.
Maynard, on behalf of the board, I want to thank you for putting up a good fight. I know that, you had some health issues, but you were so faithful and resilient in attending our board meetings. Some of them were very late, but you did your best to stay with us and finished your term. So really, thank you very much. 13 years, that's huge. And, hope that now that you're retired, you know, you're going to be healthy, no more stress, no more long meetings. You can enjoy your retirement, and post-pandemic, you can travel the world. And of course, looking forward to seeing you often too. Hope visit us. We'll see each other often. Thank you very much for your many years of service.
Thank you, Sue.
Next, we'll hear from Board Member Apodaca.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, gee, Maynard, you knew me before I was a board member. You encouraged me to run. And in many ways, you've humbled me, not so much by your words, but by your actions. Coming in, I mean, as a board member, brand new to everything, thinking I knew it all, man, was I wrong. And I learned a lot from you. And my family and I remain grateful to you during a very similar health issue that I had. And you and Pat were there for me, and I appreciate you checking on, well, on all of us, really. I kind of have that that paternal kind of, I don't want to say old man fatherly figure, but it wouldn't be a goodbye if I didn't take an old guy joke in there. But I wanted to say thank you for your years of service. I've learned a lot from you, and I look forward to seeing you around, hopefully. And I don't know if you got it yet. If not, you'll get it tomorrow. I thought that we could end your board tenure with the way that it started when you and I first met, and that's with a G&T. So if you don't have it yet, you should get it tomorrow in the front door. Thank you again, and seriously, please come back and visit, and we might be hitting you up for advice in the near future too.
Are you growing a beard?
In your honor, but I didn't want to say that because Brad already took it. So.
All right, good. Mine is a little lighter color than yours. So.
Happy retirement, Maynard.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Board Member Nishi.
Thank you, Maynard, for your 13 years of wisdom and insight. I just, we're never going to fill your shoes. They only, you know, they made a mold and then they broke it, and that's kind of you. You know, there's something about leadership that you had, which was a very gentle touch, right? It's not showy and running around and look at me. Your leadership was very steady, and like Bob said, it was you stayed steady to the very end. You kept on with your commitments and your dedication to our schools and our kids, and that was important. You didn't just talk to fill space. Whenever you asked a question, it was like I was getting a lesson in how to really conduct myself, and I'm really gonna miss you. I liked how you cut the tension with your jokes, and you had a way of having a really good joke. I remember that. We think the world of you. So you're gonna have a lot more fun. No more long meetings, but we still need your help. So come on back anytime. There's lots of public comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Board Member Say.
Hi, Maynard, Board Member Law. You know what? I'm the one probably don't want to go because if you leave, I'm the oldest one here now. But I definitely, I want to say it was my honor and opportunity to work with you for the past very challenging 13 years. We started together. And I sincerely appreciate your dedication to this board. I will miss those good old days. You, former board member, Ms. Spitzer and Ms. Chen and I, we were so busy and visit all the school districts. And you never complained, but sometimes with some kind of dry jokes with us. But I know you are enjoying as a board member. Best of luck to you next journey, and enjoy your time with the Pat and your grandkids. I know you will not leave us. You will be around and help you and our district. I want to say, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving to you and the Law family. But most important, I want you to keep a good health. And see you around. Thank you, Maynard, and I love you.
Thank you.
Board Member Law, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I do. I have, first of all, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You can see that. Well, it's a very nice plaque. It's Maynard Law Board of Education 2007-2020 in appreciation of your dedication to the students, parents, staff, and community, ABC Unified School District. And I'm going to put this. I have some proclamations here, but you don't want to hear all that stuff.
Well, they've already said it.
You've already said it, so you don't have to hear it again.
Do you have your bright light?
I wrote some things out, but I don't know when I'm going to have anything left because you all said most of the things I was going to say. But I'm going to say them anyway because this is my last chance.
He's been practicing.
I practiced today, yeah. One thing we talked about, and you all have said it many times, once you're on the board and you're gone, you're not gone, you're still around. I'm probably going to be getting to join the foundation and work for the betterment of our students in a little different direction. So let me read this. If you get bored, just turn the light out or whatever and I'll stop. It has been an honor and a privilege to be part of the ABC School District's recognition as a national leader in public education. During my 13 years on the school board, I have had the opportunity of working with 16 different dedicated school board members. Probably some of you don't know who those were a long time ago. And two remarkable superintendents, Dr. Gary Smuts and of course, Dr. Mary Sue. And many fantastic administrators, and of course, the one and only ABC's Wizard of Finance, Tuan Nguyen. Without Tuan, I don't know where we'd be, but he always knows the numbers, whatever it is. The last 13 years, I've been able to witness the unbelievable contributions of all of our employees have made to ABC. From my first day on the board and continuing to today, my focus has always been student success, the core belief that student achievement for all has been my guide for any decision that I have made while I've been on the board. I looked at my role as a board member, not only as a policymaker, but as a partner with our fantastic unions and the thousands of dedicated employees of ABC. Over the years, I've attended and participated in hundreds of concerts, plays, holiday programs, graduations, sports competitions, science Olympics, visits to classrooms. As well, I volunteered as an instructor in the science enrichment programs for a couple schools. My time on the board has been truly remarkable in the achievements that our district has had. We have had 17, this is just while I've been here, there's more of course, 17 California Gold Ribbon schools, 25 California Distinguished schools, 8 National Blue Ribbon schools, all 5 middle schools as national models of middle schools, 15 Golden Bell Awards. I think we just got another one, so that could be 16. The National School Board Association's grand prize as the outstanding school district in the nation. And most recently, a very deserved naming of Dr. Mary Sue as the California Superintendent of the Year. And for me, the long awaited and much needed passage of the district-wide bond for school improvement. Brad's still there, I guess he is. I have full confidence that the trustee area 4 and the school district will be in good hands as Brad Beach takes my place. Again, it has been a privilege and an honor to be part of ABC Unified School District, and thank you all for all those kind words that you said. Thank you. See, that wasn't too bad. I threw away the other 15 pages.
Well, thank you for that wonderful recap. Okay, at this time, we're going to move on to recognitions for our outgoing board by President Letty Mendoza. Dr. Sue.
Thank you very much, President Rios. I just wanted to again thank Vice President Mendoza for her unrelenting experience in supporting our students, especially our students, our families, and the cities that we serve. Doesn't matter what time of the day that we experience together throughout these past 5 years, but she is never remiss in calling me, texting me to talk about the things that are so important for her. And I just feel like this is a very, especially at this time, it's critical that we have board members who face challenging times, but she was unrelenting in supporting the students and the schools that we serve. So I do want to thank Vice President Mendoza for all of her 5 years of experience on the board. And congratulations on your time with us on the board. And I wish you the best in your next step in your journey. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we also have people who would like to express their thoughts. So we will begin with Linda Johnson, Field Deputy for the County of Los Angeles Supervisor, Janice Hahn.
Hi, good evening again. Linda Johnson, representing Supervisor Janice Hahn, who oversees the 4th District. Board Member Mendoza, the supervisor, thanks you for your service on the board these past 5 years, and also for representing the families and children in the city of Artesia. As a teacher, you have brought a different perspective to the board and have always advocated for resources, programming, and for the children in the district as well as Artesia. The supervisor appreciates your dedication and support you provided teachers and staff and for your work in the community. And Supervisor Hahn wishes you the best on your future endeavors. And to both Maynard and Letty, we do have scrolls for you. They will be delivered to the district office and they will be delivered to your home. Thank you again.
Thank you. And we did have the mayors from our 3 cities, but they went ahead and spoke. We had the city of Artesia, Mayor Ali Tosh, Mayor of the city of Lakewood, Todd Rogers, and we had Viviana Gomez, who was the field representative, Office of Assemblywoman Cristina Garcia. So at this time, I'd like to acknowledge Cerritos College Board of Trustees, President Marissa Perez. President, yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing us to be here today. I'm pleased to be here on behalf of the Cerritos College Board of Trustees and to thank Vice President Letty Mendoza for her years of service and her years of partnership with our school district. Our partnership between the college and the school district has only grown stronger these last few years due to the dedication of so many of your school board members, especially Board Member Mendoza. So we again are so happy to be here today to congratulate you and to thank you for your service and to look forward to seeing what you do next as an educator and as a leader in our community. And again, just wanted to send congratulations on behalf of the Cerritos College Board of Trustees. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge President of the ABCFT, Ray Gare.
Cut me off guard, sorry. On behalf of the ABC Federation of Teachers, I'd like to congratulate Letty Mendoza for her 5 years of service to the ABC school district. Letty was the first to fill the Artesia trustee area in 2015, and she's been a great role model for whoever comes in there. She's just been a powerful advocate for students, for teachers and staff. And she brings a unique perspective in the sense that she's a primary teacher, primary grade teacher, and she would bring the experiences that she had in her own district and her own teachings and use that as part of her decision making here in ABC, and would share that knowledge with other board members, with staff. I cherish the memories, and I'm sure we'll have more of meeting at the second office for Letty, which would be the Denny's on the Denny's in Artesia, and having good conversations about the direction of ABC and talking about how we can make things better as a team. So the ABC teachers and nurses will greatly miss her voice, and we know life has other adventures in store for her, and we want to thank her for her commitment to ABC and her service. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Dr. Beth Bray on behalf of the Management Association for ABC.
Thank you again for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the ABC Management Association. And we want to express our thanks to Vice President Mendoza. We thank her for her more than 5 years of service and support to the students and families of the ABC community, especially to the area of Artesia, as others have mentioned. I came from Artesia as a principal before I came to the district office, and it has a special place in my heart, and I appreciate all the work that she's done in that community. Since, again, we're in the virtual environment, we did take the opportunity to send a gift of appreciation to her today. And so we hope that she received that. And we do, again, want to recognize her commitment to children in her teaching and in her work as a board member. And we do know that however she continues her next steps, that the children are going to be foremost in her thoughts. So whatever she chooses to do in the future. So thank you again, Vice President Mendoza.
Okay, thank you. Well, here again, I'd like to say a few words before I have my colleagues speak. We also have a special presentation for Vice President Mendoza. And so I don't know if she's gotten it already, or we're going to make this another ta-da moment. Okay, I want to also take a moment to acknowledge Vice President Mendoza for her dedication and time of service to the ABC community. On behalf of the board, we would like to present you with the token of our appreciation. Your voice of a mother, a teacher, a Latina, brought a much appreciated insight to our meetings. Our district was better for it. Your advocacy for our students, families, and teachers and staff was always welcomed. I especially appreciate the pride you had in representing the Latino community and how you encouraged us to acknowledge and celebrate the diversity that is the strength of our district. Much success to you in all of your future endeavors, and you too will be missed. Board Clerk, you?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Well, Letty, you're one of the most passionate board member when it comes to advocating for the students and for the schools and Latino community. Really appreciate your diligence, despite the fact that you have to teach so early in the morning. You came prepared, ready for the meetings, and you knew your agendas, and you're very diligent in studying the issues. Really appreciate that. And I know that you, deep in your heart, you wanted what was best for the students. Really, thank you. We will miss you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Board Member Dr. Apodaca.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, Vice President Mendoza, comadre, friend, I admire you for what we've been able to accomplish in the last 5 years.
Thank you.
And you know, something that I think people, if you don't know already about Letty, something that people should know is that she doesn't fight the battles that she knows she can win. She fights the battles that need to be fought. And that's obvious. It's been very obvious over the years, as sometimes she's been the lone vote on something. Sometimes she's been the only voice on something. And if I could characterize having to go head to head, because it's happened before with Letty Mendoza on my end, is she is transparent, she's very loud, and she is unrelenting. And she will call you, and she will text you, and then she'll email you. She'll do everything short of showing up at your house. And that's provided if she doesn't know where you live. Tireless advocate for our young ladies, for our young Latinas, and a good example of the fact that you can, I think the phrase that you use is you can be a leader in heels. And so I'm grateful for all that we've been able to accomplish. I know you're not going to be a stranger. I know that you'll still be an advocate for our children. And I'm going to keep you as my teacher advisor whenever there's something I want to know about how things work in the classroom. So thank you, and te estimo mucho, and adelante. Un abrazo.
Thank you. Board Member Long?
I'm not sure my microphone is still on. Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. Lydia and I not always agreed on everything, but that's part of what we do, to be able to not agree and still agree. You know, when we walk out of the meeting, it's 7-0 or it's 6-1 or whatever it is, but we all walk out and that is the way it is. And I thank her for her efforts to encouraged me to understand a lot more about the Hispanic community than I already knew. I did not come from a Hispanic background. I grew up in a much African-American community, so I have a different perspective, obviously. But with her help, I was able to get a different perspective on what's going on. And I appreciate everything that she did for her community and part of my community. I had part of, and Brad will too, part of Artesia as part of Trustee Area 4. So I needed to know what was going on. And I really appreciate all the things that you did for our district and for me. Thanks, Letty.
Thank you, Board Member Nishi.
Oh, I remember Letty, Madam Vice President, before I was ever on the board, she visited Leal with Chris Apodaca. I remember they reached out to all of the different areas in our area. And I hope she doesn't take offense to this, but I kind of thought of her as like the mom of the board. She was like, she reminded me, hey, it's college day. Don't forget to wear your jersey. Don't forget to honor the veterans, please, she was really relentless in terms of making sure that we did the right things at the right time. So I hope you're not offended to that because, you're not that old, but I always thought of you as like the mom. You had that teaching perspective and we all know that you care about the kids. Whatever we talk about, it's always the children and the teachers and how they face their challenges. You could always empathize with them. So I thought that was a really important thing for me to learn. I think that people remember that you walked to make sure that we had decent facilities at our schools. When the kids play in the playgrounds, the new ones at Nemes, or if some kid finds a cure for COVID at our new science centers, or finds all kinds of great things at our science centers, Letty was a part of that. You made an impact on our entire district, and you're going to continue to make a district. The lantern is kind of representative of the light that you shine upon us, and you will continue to shine. And we know that you're not stopping. You're going to continue on. There's no. This is just a transition to something even better. I think we know that you're going to continue. Your kids are going to continue to make an impact. You're going to continue to make everybody in your family is just a public servant. And so this is not really goodbye. It's just a change of the way things are going to be. That's all. So thank you. Thank you, Letty. I really appreciate it.
Board Member Say.
Hi, Vice President, Mrs. Mendoza. I would like to say thank you for your past 5-year challenge years of service. I know it was not easy for you as a mother of 4 kids, teacher, and wife. I can say I know how you feel. It is definitely tough, but you managed very well and you came to the board always on time. Also, in the past 2 years, I feel I know you much more, such as shopping at Kohl's, not the Macy. I thought you're the person to go to Macy shopping, but I met you so many times in Kohl's, and you told me you catch a lot of good stuff over there, and thank you for teaching me that. And when we went out to eat, and also discover you are very casual person, and you're not picky eater. And and I see many things on you, you're very loyal to your friends, and you are tough. I have seen you tough side. One time at our board meeting, we had our community members say something about your children, and you stood up and defended for them right away. Seriously, as an elected official, we don't deserve that. And we have family, and we have our relatives live in community. We get anything to blame for, but you stood up. And that I have to say, you're a tough girl. I really see so many good sides about you for the past 5 years with you. And last, I would like to say best luck of you to your next journey, and enjoy your family time with your husband, children, and relatives. And my last wish to you is have a safe and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you, Letty.
Did you get to see your gift, Board Member Vice President Mendoza?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. You guys know me so well.
I have to acknowledge credit goes to Board Member Nishi, who is they were very selectively picked and very, they kind of embody who you are and what, how we think of you. So would you like to say a few words, please?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Madam President. So first and foremost, I want to thank God for allowing me the opportunity to serve the ABC School District for 5 years. And next, I have to say, I'm going to get a little bit emotional. I'm sorry. But I have to thank my family because it's, like a lot of you said, it's not easy being mom, teacher, school board member, and sacrificing a lot of your time with your family. But it was all worth it because I think we made a difference in our schools the last 5 years. Like Maynard said, we don't always agree, but we get the work done. So I'm very honored. I'm very blessed to be able to say that I served the board for 5 years. I'm blessed to say that I was the first representative from Artesia to serve on the board. I thank my community for giving me that opportunity. I'm thankful to say that I was the first Latina on the board, along with my colleague, Dr. Apodaca. Being the first Latinos on the board was, challenging in itself. Having no one to kind of look up to that had been in that position before. So I'm very blessed to say that I was able to do that for my community, for my daughters, for my students, and just be a role model for them. And I want to say first, thank you to our staff. We have an amazing staff, to our superintendent, to Laura, to Danielle, to Natalie. You guys always welcome me, made me feel very welcome. So thank you. I want to say thank you to our schools, our administrators, because every time I walked into a school, it was like Ms. Mendoza, and it felt like home. It felt like I wasn't just, the board member, I was a parent. So thank you for welcoming me. To my school board members, thank you for getting the work done, no matter what, long hours, staying up late at night, listening to everyone. I know it wasn't easy, but thank you so much for doing that with me. I have to say, as I leave, when I first I ran and I said I wanted to make sure my platform was to make sure that we recruited and retained our staff. And I think we've done that. I think I really fought really hard to make sure that our staff was able to move up in our district, to make sure we had the best staff in our district. We were able to do that. And even in a pandemic, we didn't lay anybody off. We didn't let any of our family members go. And I'm really honored. I want to thank you guys for doing that, because when we help our staff, we help our students. So thank you for doing that for me. Sorry, guys. I'm just a chiona. I'm sorry. I just get really emotional. I'm sorry. One of the things that I'm really proud of as being a board member was that because being a school board member, I was able to host the Young Latinas Empowerment Conference for the last 3 years. And it was a blessing because I was able to serve 150 students working with Cerritos College. So thank you, Cerritos College, so much for partnering with me and bringing in not only our ABC young ladies, but 150 students from Norwalk La Mirada, from Whittier Union High School, from Montebello High School, Montebello District, from Paramount, and they all came together and spent a day listening to not just Latinas, but just successful women that they can look up to. So I'm really honored to have been part of that and to have hosted that, and I'll continue doing that. I'm not going to give up on doing that. I'm still going to be around. I'm still a parent. I still live in Artesia, so I'm going to still be around and I'll still have a voice. Don't be surprised if I show up during public comments, because I think it's important to have parents voice their opinions. And I want to say to the schools in my trustee area, we did good. We had at Ross, we got a new principal. At Burbank, we got a new principal. At GAR, we got a new principal. So I'm really proud to have been a part of that and to say that we got really good support in our schools for our students and our family. And as I leave, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be here. But I know you guys have the new board coming in, you have a difficult decision to make coming up. And I don't envy you, because you're going to have to decide, do our students come back? Do our teachers come back? But I know that you guys are going to make the right decision. You're going to have all the knowledge from the county, from our bargaining members, to have the wisdom to make the right choices for our students and for our staff. And before I end, I want to thank the teachers. You know, I know what they do. My heart has always been in the classroom. It always has been to service the students, the teachers, our paraeducators. The focus is the classroom, and it should always remain the classroom. We don't cut the classrooms. We don't cut anything at the classrooms because that's where the learning happens. And I want to thank our teachers for doing such a great job during the 4 years when we were in person and this last year when we're doing virtual. It's not easy. I'm there with you. I do it every day. And I truly believe, you know, when one door closes, another door opens. So as I leave my board position, I've actually accepted an out of the classroom position at my school to support teachers in literacy. So I know God has a plan. I know, you know, I'm moving up, and I want to support our teachers in a different way. So I'm excited about that. As sad as I am about leaving the board, I'm excited to have a new position at my school site and to continue servicing my students, my families, where I grew up, and also supporting here. So thank you for my gift. Thank you for allowing me to serve the 5 years that I did. And we're going to continue the work no matter whether we're on the board or not. I know Maynard is going to continue to support the district, just like Celia and Olympia have before us. So I'll be around. So muchas gracias. Thank you. That's it. Thank you, Madam President.
Well, thank you again, both. And again, we wish you much joy and much success in any future endeavors. Okay, with that, let's move on to the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of November 17th, 2020?
So moved by
So
Sophia.
moved. Second, Sue.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Aye.
Mr. Law,
Yes.
Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 4th, 2020?
So moved.
Second, Sue.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yes.
Mr. Law,
Yes.
Mrs. Mendoza, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Molina Ban and Yesenia Rios Galdames of the adult school to present a report on school activities.
Good evening, President Dr. Rios, distinguished board members, Superintendent Dr. Sue, cabinet members, and community members. My name is Dr. Yesenia Rios Galdames. This is my third year taking classes at ABC Adult School. My 7 and 5-year-old daughters both graduated from the preschool program, and I am currently enrolled in the Parenting the 1 to 2-year-old class with Mrs. Cohen Doran. She's an incredible instructor. She makes the virtual learning so much fun for my 1-year-old daughter. Thank you for providing these great learning opportunities at the adult school for my daughters and our community members. The Parent Education Department does live Zoom lessons with parents and preschoolers every day. Large classes are divided into 2 sessions, so children always have the opportunity to share and participate as helpers via Zoom. The parents pick up hard copy crafts every 3 weeks. Therefore, the children are able to do an art project during each class and also have homework. Additional activities, stories, songs, and parent handouts are provided every week in Google Classroom. Teachers communicate with the parents almost daily using the Remind app. On October 30th, the department had a successful drive-by trunk or treat event. Parents, as myself, were very grateful to have this safe and fun activities for the preschoolers. Now the department is planning a drive-by say hi to Santa event in December with gifts for all. Our Parent Leadership Academy, PLA, successfully completed its first module. College is coming. Are you ready? We had over 100 ABCUSD parents attend our first set of workshops, receiving the important information on preparing their students for college. We have received great feedback from all of our parents and are excited to deliver our second module, Raising Digital Children. This module was held last Thursday, November 10th, and tonight, November 17th. Our Parent Leadership Academy workshops are open to all ABCUSD families and are held on designated weeknights from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Our PLA workshops are free to our families and are continuing to grow since we constantly promote them and have amazing presenters. Parents can register for our free workshops on the ABC Adult School website. ABC Adult School Academic Department is thriving in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic. We continue to meet students' needs through email correspondence, phone conversations, Remind app, or Zoom meetings. We are continuing a great working relationship with our comprehensive high schools. Through our collaborations, we are helping students that are credit deficient meet their high school graduation requirements through our Edmonton program. Within the first 2 months, our academic department has enrolled 333 students and continues to grow. We are very proud of all our students. Due to the time limit today, we will share the highlights and outcomes on the Career Technical Education / Training, CTE, and English as a Second Language departments at our next report. ABC Adult School has had a very busy first quarter. Our enrollment remains strong and CTE classes were filled quickly. We will be hosting a winter drive-through graduation on Thursday, December 3rd, between the hours of 9 to 11 a.m. I hope you could stop by and join the celebration. In conclusion, I have an excellent experience with ABC Adult School and would like to thank you for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Very exciting to hear all the amazing things that are happening at the adult school. Dr. Sue?
Thank you very much. Before I start my report, I just simply hope that both Maynard Law and Letty Mendoza received the plaques and the cakes that we sent them.
I did get the cake. I'm not sure how much is left. I got to it before I did, but yes, I did. It looks beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we also sent you a plaque as well. We'll be delivering a plaque.
Thank you, Dr. Sue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, I just do want to congratulate Dr. Yesenia Rios Galdamez for her wonderful report on things going on in adult school. I was at the PLA workshop on getting ready for college one night, and I thought it was a fantastic experience as well. But just to kind of report back on the things that I've been doing, on Saturday, November the 7th, I was invited by Dr. Linda Rose to be the luncheon keynote speaker at UCLA's Women's School Leadership Academy. My presentation covered the topic of the evolution of a school leader, challenges and solutions. There were great questions and comments from the participants that afternoon. On Tuesday, November the 10th, I participated with over 200 people in the Principal Pipeline Learning Community virtual convening. This organization is funded by the Wallace Foundation. There were several breakout sessions that I participated in, including one for superintendents across the country. It was a very enlightening day with several of our own principals and district administrators involved with the PPLC. I participated in the 2020 AALRR Education Law Conference on Thursday, November the 12th. This included Jim Baca, our legal counsel, along with Adam Newman, attorney for our special education services. Their presentations focused on personnel, special education, and facilities. This virtual law conference brought up numerous questions with answers provided by the attorneys with AALRR. On Monday, November the 16th, I met with the Whitney High School Black Alumni Association, and they provided updates about their experiences since the summer. It was a lively conversation with support for the work that CCEJ has provided for our students. They are very proud of the direction that we have taken since we began this year. On our district's website, we have a new dashboard to provide families updated information regarding the number of COVID-19 cases on our campuses and work locations. This data will be updated when new cases are confirmed and where there was potential exposure at a school site or district facility. Updates will occur at least every Tuesday at 9:00 a.m. Families should go to our district's website and just tap Safely Reopening Schools to get to the dashboard. Governor Newsom announced this week that there are now 41 out of 58 counties that now are in the purple tier. It jumped dramatically from 13 to 41 counties in the purple tier now. 94% of California residents now live in a county in the purple tier, the widespread tier. This includes Orange County as well as Los Angeles County. Schools that dropped in the purple tier counties can continue to offer in-person instruction. However, if a school did not reopen when it had the chance, it may not reopen while the county is in the purple tier. ABC Unified School District in Los Angeles County is still in the purple tier. Finally, we have received numerous requests to hire an equity officer. We have received information from many districts regarding the job descriptions to or for an equity officer. In January of 2021, we will submit a proposal for the board to respond to regarding the equity officer position. When it is approved, we will fly the position in early spring. We will notify the Board of Education regarding who applied and our recommendation for the position. The person hired will begin in the 2021-22 school year. And that concludes my report, President Rios.
Thank you. This time we'll move on to employee representative reports. Mr. Ray Gare, ABCFT President.
Thank you, Dr. Rios. So good evening, President Dr. Rios, ABC Board Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Sue, Administrative Cabinet, teachers, nurses, students, parents, and most of all, the ABC community members. My name is Ray Gare, I'm President of the ABC Federation of Teacher. Just to give you an update on kind of what we've been doing. Tomorrow, ABCFT will have its second equity committee meeting, which will take place after school, and about 30 teachers will show up and we'll be discussing equity in ABC. In a moment, I'd like to introduce Gabby, she's not only a member of this equity committee, but she's also an ABC representative for the Board Advisory Committee for Diversity, Unity, and Equity, which is being chaired by Board President Dr. Rios. We're excited about the crucial discussions that are going to happen in that committee. And so we wanted to make sure that we introduced Gabby Montarosa Rivera, who is our ABCFT representative. So Gabby, if you're on.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Gabriela Monterrosa Ibarra. My pronouns are she, her, and ella. I'm a first grade teacher at Nevis Elementary, go Nevis. And this is my 11th year teaching in ABC. I'm humbled, honored, and excited to begin serving on the ABCUSD Diversity, Unity, and Equity Committee. I'd like to briefly take a moment to elaborate on my background so that you may all understand me a bit better in relation to what I bring to students, to teaching, to our communities, and specifically ABC. I'm born and bred ABC, Nixon Elementary, Tetzlaff Middle School, and CHS class of 2004, Escudo de Oro. I then attended CSULB and earned my multiple subject teaching credential, my BCLAD for teaching Spanish immersion, as well as a minor in music at CSULB. I served many roles during my undergraduate education, including serving as a paraeducator within ABC. Since then, I've gone on to earn my master's in educational technology, where my research focused on how to authentically and effectively address the inequities that occur throughout educational systems. ABC is not alone in that, particularly for children who find themselves at the intersections of various identities and needs. I bring to the table years of continuing education and professional development in the areas of equity, restorative justice, nutrition education and eating disorder awareness, civic engagement, literacy, empathy in schools, mental health, and educational neuroscience. I have either paid for these trainings on my own or have been able to attend conferences through scholarship. I'm looking forward to serving on this committee. I know that the other members of the Diversity, Unity, and Equity Committee and we will have one leading focus, and that is that our students, children, and community members will be heard so that we can build solutions for the future together. To everyone out there listening tonight, please tell everyone your voice will be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. So this week in our Equity Committee, we're going to be discussing the institutional history that we've and how ABC has addressed equity over the last couple of decades. One of the most important messages we heard from the first meeting was kind of talking about hidden messages, unintentional hidden messages that are in the education system and in society as a whole. But we're really focused on education. So as I was writing what I was going to talk about tonight, I was looking at the homepage for ABCUSD. And we have about 18 pictures of our students that are filtering over and over, and as I looked at those, they're not really representative of all the students, even though those are pictures of our students. We have 45% of our students are Hispanic, but I didn't see 45% in some of the pictures. And I didn't see 8% of our African American community really in those pictures. And I'm sure that's just like an oversight, but that's something that I'm starting to think about differently. And we're hoping that, just from having conversations, that we'll start to look at our surroundings, look at some of the hidden messages that we see that we don't even realize that have been happening in education for so long. It can happen in the classroom, in our textbooks, in our curriculum, and just the way we say things. So I just think that's an important thing. Hidden messages are really some of the most significant damaging events that happen to kids in the classroom when they get confused about the things that they hear from their teachers, their schools, and just their experiences as being American. So I'm really excited about the direction that this district committee is going to be going. Every week, ABCFT has a live chat. And this week in our live chat, many of our members were talking about we don't want to call them benchmarks, but they are benchmark tests that are given to our students. These were given in September and they're being given again. I guess what's significant about these tests is that they are different from the tests that we took, many of all the adults here in the room, that we took in the classroom, where we had a static test that everybody almost took the same test with the same questions. Over the last couple of years, the state has developed what they call leveling tests. So no matter what level you're at, the test adjusts to how you do on the test. So give me an example. So if I'm a third grader and I take a test on a third grade curriculum question and I answer it positively, I will get asked another question and maybe a little bit of a higher level to see what level I could go to. Until I'm finally challenged enough where I won't be able to answer the question. Some students might find this, they've been trained in this way, but some students might still find this a little bit frustrating. Same thing for kids that might not have mastery over things. They'll get a test that will go down in ability so that it adjusts to what they can do, and it'll still be challenging. This is completely different than the way we were tested in schools, assessed as kids. And I think a lot of parents might find this more difficult to understand because they might not understand the reasoning behind it. And it says something about there might be a disconnect in the way we assess kids and the purpose of that, and how that is different as a culture from what we grow up with and how we assess kids now. And so my ask is that if you have questions about your son or daughter and how they're doing in the classroom as far as the testing goes, please have a conversation with your teacher. And so they can help to explain what a leveling test does and the purpose of it to the best of their ability. But hopefully, I hope as a community and ABC, the ABC district, we'll all work together to make sure that parents are aware of these changes in how we assess kids in education, because it's really important that our parents are supportive and they understand exactly why we're doing the things we do. Lastly, I just want to do a quick follow-up on last meeting. I talked about safety as a core value of ABC. And as I said before, a district's budget should reflect the values we have as a community. Therefore, I'd like to propose that we add cleanliness as a value in ABC. So let me give an example. If you go to any of the ABC classrooms right now, you will see a bottle of sanitizer, a big gallon bottle, which is great. It's great to have sanitizer in all of our classrooms, but a bottle tells you that it's a temporary situation. I would hope that maybe the ABC district can have a conversation about having dispensers in every single classroom so that when kids come in and they leave, they sanitize their hands. And that we don't do this just because we have a pandemic on our hands. That when we have in-person, we actually go back to normal as a school district, whatever normal is, the kids continue to have this opportunity to wash their hands on a daily basis as they leave and enter the classroom. This could help with the amount of viruses that spread in our classrooms, and even and to staff. But even if we were to save even 1% of more kids not getting sick and being able to go to school because they're sanitizing their hands and they're not spreading germs, even 1% would be a $2 million savings. And that $2 million savings could be something that we could then put into other pieces, other needs in ABC. So I think I'd like to have a conversation about cleanliness as a value that we continue to hold as a district. And lastly, ABCFT and the ABC district administrators, we're working together to discuss different hybrid solutions. We're negotiating at the table, but more importantly, we're meeting informally about hybrid, just as parents are having the opportunity to talk to administration about hybrid and their teachers. But I think what's most important is that we're visiting other school districts. We're looking at different models together, and we're trying to learn about what works and what doesn't so we can meet the needs of our student community. So I just ask that everybody be patient and just know that ABC is doing the right thing right now with virtual learning, and that we're preparing for hybrid when that opportunity comes so we can best serve our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your insight. And I am really excited about this committee. I mean, the energy that Gabby's going to bring to it. And I think every member has really been intentional and thoughtful about who their appointees are. And so can't wait to see how much is accomplished. Okay, Board Clerk, can you take us to public comments, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We have one comment, public comment. Let me read the public comments first. Persons wishing to address the board should provide public comments during the public comments section by the following method: myabcusd.org/board meeting, and use a link or phone number to participate in the Zoom meeting. If using Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature during the public comments portion of the agenda or during the public comments time after an agenda item. If using the phone, please use *9 to raise your hand during the public comments portion of the agenda or during the public comments time after an agenda item. Then use *6 to unmute yourself when you are called on to speak. Comments will be presented during the public comment section, which is limited to 1 hour, and each speaker to one presentation of 5 minutes unless the board wishes to waive the time limit. Those who have a group concern are encouraged to select a spokesperson to address the board. Comments submitted regarding a specific agenda item will be presented following the staff comments and prior to the board's discussion and taking action. Adverse remarks about a person's race, ancestry, ethnic group identification, religion, color, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender, mental or physical handicap, or age may not be made. Concerns presented to the board will be followed up and addressed by the appropriate staff. We have one comment. Are you ready, Sylvester Ani? Oh, yeah, we have about 4 comments. Start with Sylvester Ani, please. Sylvester, are you ready?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Good evening, everybody. Happy to be here. My name is Sylvester. I am a community member. I went to Cerritos High School, started a nonprofit called The Love We Don't See to help in education. And this is my first time on the call, and I'm really happy to hear how you celebrated one of your colleagues, which shows me that there's a lot of love and respect on the board, and I'm looking forward to, being more engaged and more involved in everything that's going on with school and education. So that was a pretty good start, a pretty good introduction. The reason why I hopped on today was because last week I had a conversation with the Cerritos High School Black Student Union about financial literacy. We talked about financial literacy, talked about entrepreneurship. We talked about different things that, I believe that we should invest more into the schools, specifically Black and brown communities, the Black and brown students specifically, that I feel like would not only help and advance their potential going forward in life, especially as we face automation, and it'll help them get jobs, but just their overall engagement in schools and being excited and have something to look forward to and something that resonates to their interests. So I'd like to have more conversations about how we could invest or make an overinvestment in coding and programming and financial literacy to teach more of the kids about stocks and bonds and things that'll enrich their lives in school. And there's parallels with math, and also help them after they leave school too.
Okay, thank you. We have Maggie Canang.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to thank the board members that are stepping down for their service and for our board for your work currently. Tonight, I'm speaking to address the sexual harassment that has gone on within the school district, and students have been speaking out about how they haven't been able to trust their schools or faculty to handle the misconduct properly, whether it has been reported or not. A lot of students have voiced that they haven't been supported. My main concern is that even if protocol and policy is in place, there isn't much resources that are being widely disseminated within the school district. I was a former student K through 12, and not once did I get educated or pointed in the right direction in case that harm does occur within my life, and it did. At the time that it happened when I was in high school, I didn't feel like I could talk to anyone. I didn't feel like I could trust anyone that was faculty or student because the conversations were never had. Young kids are, especially in our school district, we have a lot of privileges and we are sheltered from a lot of harms in the world, but that doesn't prevent it from happening to us and within our communities. I encourage the board and the equity officers that are now being onboarded to really delve into resourcing our students and their support systems so that even if policy does fail, we do have the resources and support for their students. So we could partner with current organizations and disseminate their websites or their information so students can go there. We can post resources like hotlines and support groups on school websites and within the classroom. We can have trauma-informed counselors ready to talk to students about these difficult things, including what it's like to be an ally. We can have conversations about what consent looks like and bodily autonomy looks like. It is not enough that we have policy and to throw that policy at survivors as enough insurance for them to heal. It's not a healing process that's just backing you up on legalities. We need to do more to support survivors and take it seriously and not just act on legal basis to protect school board members or whoever is in charge of making our school district look good. What's important is serving our students, and more needs to be done to make that a reality. So thank you for your time and your consideration. Tomorrow there will be a protest at the school district building. Your board members, current and incoming, are invited for the open comment section, but please be aware that there are students that will be there speaking about their trauma and their experiences, and be aware that they may be triggered by what you say. So please know that your words matter, and take what you say with a grain of salt and what the students say seriously. So thank you for your time again, and hopefully you come and show support tomorrow. The protest starts at 3:30. Public comments or open forum, maybe half an hour to an hour into it. Good night.
Next, we have Dana Williams.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Dana Williams, and I'm a current junior at Cerritos High School. And as all of you guys know, I've been an avid attendee and speaker on the sexual harassment issue in the ABCUSD district. Over the past couple of months, I've collaborated with multiple current students and alumni, and we have replanned our protest to tomorrow, Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. at the district office. Parents, survivors, and community members will gather at the district, and we formally invite the board to stand with us in solidarity and to listen to what their students have to say. We will have an open forum and requests that we hope the district will consider. We hope to bring perspective to what happens on school grounds through an open forum, and we hope we will be able to work together in the future. Thank you.
Next, we have Mackenzie Roa.
Thank you, Ms. Mendoza, for your time and commitment to our school district community, and most of all, us students. I know it includes a lot of personal sacrifices, keeping students at the heart and all of your work. Count on me to knock on the next door in 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Megan Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. I am Megan Mitchell. I'm a product of ABC. I am a parent in ABC, and I also happen to be an ABC employee and a member of the Whitney High School Black Alumni Association. And I wanted to call specifically to thank the Board of Trustees, Dr. Sue and Dr. Wise, and the ABC community at large on behalf of the Whitney High School Black Alumni Association for their continued commitment to moving towards a place of inclusion, representation, diversity, and equity within our district. BAA is all about the betterment of the ABC community as a whole, and we want to support the representation and inclusion of all students within the ABC community. And I really think, or we really feel that the work that the board has done with helping to provide the money for CCEJ, Resolution 19114, and the continued work that's being done under the leadership of Dr. Sue, the board members at large, and Dr. Wise is truly creating an environment that is not only going to make ABC academically successful, but really create a safe environment for all of our students, regardless of socioeconomic status, background, culture, gender, or any of the other things that make us unique, that they will feel valued, represented, and safe within ABC schools. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of the public comments. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you for that. At this time, we will move on to the consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved, Apodaca.
Second, Mendoza.
Is there anyone who wishes to remove any item to be considered separately? Okay, if none, roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yes.
Mr. Law, Mr. Law, Ms. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. We will move on to action items. May I have a motion to approve community member and student appointments to board advisory committees?
So moved.
Mendoza. Second, Mendoza.
Board Clerk Yu?
Yes, thank you very much. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Michelle Ando to the Advisory Committee for Ethnic Studies. She is fourth generation Japanese American, and she grew up in Gardena and is very familiar with Cerritos and decided to move to Cerritos 22 years ago and raise her two boys. She's an active member of BRAC PTA, Cerritos Elementary PTA, Cerritos Elementary Educational Foundation, Tetzlaff Middle School Marching Band, Norwalk Youth Sports Southeast Japanese School and Community Center, and Frontier Baseball. She received her AA degree in court reporting from Cerritos College, and she worked as a court reporter for 10 years. And now she teaches at the Downey Adult School in their CTE program. As Japanese American fourth generation, I have no doubt that Michelle Ando will bring diverse contribution from the Asian perspective to this committee. So it gives me great honor to introduce Michelle Ando, and I'm going to let her introduce herself a little. Also, Michelle, are you there? Can you turn on your camera?
Oh, I'm on my phone. I couldn't get it on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I can't switch it on my camera, but just to kind of reiterate, I just think, I served on different voluntary committees, and I feel like I can, add to this committee by working with other people. I work with, volunteers, and just, I just want to thank Ernie Nishi and Sue Yu for nominating me for, possible panelists for the committee. I feel like right now, we're experiencing very trying times during this 2020 year. And, I would like to be a part of the solution, to bring our students, our families, the district all together as one. I feel like I can bring, some other information, being Asian American, to the table, share my views, and, and listen to other views, and, see what we can come up with. And, we just all need to understand and respect one another. And I just feel my volunteering experience will help, just volunteering and working with others. That's what it's all about. And that's another way to get, have success in our schools, and, bringing parents together, and whatever else we need to do to, get our kids back on track, and to just be successful.
Thank you, Michelle.
All
Back to
right.
you, Matt.
Thank you and welcome, Michelle. Again, I'm very excited. It sounds like we did a really good job of selecting people that are going to bring a lot of insight and a lot of enthusiasm to this committee. So welcome.
Oh, thank you very much.
Any public comments or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yep, yes.
Mr. Law, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishii,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. At this time, may I have a motion to conduct a public hearing and adopt the local control funding formula budget overview for parents for the 2020-2021 school year?
So moved by Sophia.
Second, Mendoza.
Mr. Wen?
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Dr. Rios. So normally the local control accountability plan, which is the LCAP plan, and the budget overview for parents, they both approved by the board in June during the budget adoption process. This year, due to COVID-19, the state has basically broke down the process into 3 separate reports. If you recall, back in June, you received an oral and written report. I know I speak, that does make sense, right? It was a written report. It was first oral and it was a written report with the LCAP. And then in September, you approved the learning continuity and attendance plan. So that was the second report. So now by December 15, you would have to approve the budget overview for parents, the LCFF budget overview for parents. And this is only a 1-page document. And like I said, it used to be part of the LCAP. So hopefully next year, when things go back to normal, you will see this as part of the LCAP adoption and also the budget adoption in June. So I like to bring your attention to page 44 of the board book. This summarizes basically the district's revenues and expenditure for the current year. So I will go over it briefly, beginning with the total LCFF funds. So for the current year, the total local control funding formula funds for the district for ABC is $190,100,202. This is on page 44. Now within that amount, there is 18.4 million for supplemental grants that the district received. And just to remind the board and the community, the supplemental funds are money that we receive based on low-income students, English learners, and foster youth. So the terms now collectively, they call that, the state now calling that high-need students. So they generate the funds and accordingly, the services should go toward to support those students. All the other on line 3, all the other state funds is about $32.3 million, and local funds come in at 3.7 million, and federal funds come in at 26.1. And this year, one-time money, the CARE funds, is about $14 million. Again, it's one time, about 11.8 or almost 12 of that must be spent by December 30th that I've shared with the board before, bringing in total revenues for ABC for the current year, 2019, 2020, 2021 is $252.3 million in revenues. So along with that, how much did we budget to spend? We are budget to spend about $251.2 million. So as you can see, expenditures is less than revenues, which means that we will not be deficit spending. We will close the year and we will spend within the revenues that we receive. So that is where we are with that. In the report also, how much did we budget for high need students? And that's $18.4 million. And that's what we receive under the supplemental grants for that amount. It's also asked of how much we budget for and spent last year. That's the last 2 lines of this report. So last year, we budget for high needs students of 17.7 and we spent about 17.3. So there's a carryover that belongs to the school sites and that being kept at the school sites. It get rolled over. We allow them to have the carryover to be spent in the following year, which is this year, for the same purpose. So that is an overview of the LCFF, the local control funding formula, as part of the LCAP that the board normally is approved in June. So this year, the state requires this to be a separate report and it must be approved by the board by December 15 of 2020. So it is for the board tonight to conduct a public hearing and adopt this report. That is the end of my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Any public comments?
There is none.
Okay, any discussion?
I have one question.
Okay, let me go in reverse order, if that's okay with you, Board Member Nishi. Let's start with Board Member Say.
Tuan, just have one question about page 45. When we talk about the LCFF, the base fund and all other category program fund that would benefit to all students. Because when you mentioned a little bit about the high needs, but when we talk about here right now, it's the base, right? The LCAP base.
Thank you for the question. We're actually talking about both. So within the LCFF, there's the base, right? That can be used and to be used for all students. And then there's the supplemental and concentration. We don't have any concentration grant, but the supplemental grant to be used for high need students.
And that will carry over to the next year.
Correct, the unused portion. Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Nishi.
Yeah, so how are we going to be dealing with the state deferrals in terms of our payments? Are we taking a short-term loan to cover that?
That is the good question. Thank you, Mr. Nishi. The deferral will start in January and go through June. We are working closely with the county to see if we have enough cash flow. We can, and the board has approved for us to borrow within ABC from other funds. If we will consider doing that first to save us money if we don't have to issue, a trans to do short-term borrowing. So if we will take it to the board at the December meeting should we need to do short-term borrowing. So I will, so you will have that. But at this point, we're still working with the county to determine the exact cash flow needs. Right now, it looks like we may not need to, but I just want to make sure because, the last thing you want to do is run out of cash due to state deferment. So we try to avoid short-term borrowing if we don't need to. So we're working on that with the county. And if you don't see an item in December, then we don't need to, but I'll report that to the board through Thursday notes.
That would be great. Thank you.
Board Member Long. Dr. Apodaca.
Thank you, Madam President. No, not at this moment. However, I would ask staff that if we are going to go down the route of borrowing, that we not just get the proposal right before the meeting or like the Tuesday before, that we get it with some time to examine it and ask questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Board Clerk, you?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Tuan, this year I know that the fund that we receive for the additional fund that we receive for the COVID relief is not in here.
It is.
It is?
Yes. It's on page 44, where's the line item say Federal CARES Fund. The CARES funds are the CRF funds, which is the coronavirus relief funds, as part of that. So it is the CARES Fund. It's one-time money, so we will only get it one time. I just want to repeat, and most of it has to be spent by December 30th. In a month or so. So it is on page 34 under the Federal CARES Fund.
So have we been able to use that fund effectively so far?
Yes, we have. We have taken the budget to the board on how to use that $11.8 million as part of the learning continuity plan, including professional development days, buying a lot of equipments, technology for students and staff, all the PPE that can be spent out of that, and basically support students for additional intervention and tutoring. So those are the items that we have been spending, and will spend all the money by December 30th for learning continuity. Basically, learning loss mitigation was the term used by the state, is to support students. So we have been doing that, and we will be doing that until the money runs out for this year.
I'm glad to hear that, because I know that our district have worked so hard since I got on board to close the gap. And because of this pandemic, it's really unexpected, and we don't know what to expect. But I really like to see those funds specifically used to support those students who actually need that help, that extra support, who's may not have that home environment where they can study effectively, because they don't have rooms at home, quiet space. And also they don't have a good access, through the technology, or they have parents who are not really home to, monitor or supervise, compared to other students who have full support from the parents. So that's going to cause a real gap, real disparity, and really like to see those funds, used. I know that we're on purpose zone, but still, I know that we're also working hard to make childcare available, should the zone lift up. I know that, we will continue the virtual for the time being, but, should the needs rise, we'll be prepared to use those funds to support those students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice President Mendoza.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to kind of continue the conversation that Board Clerk Sue was asking. The CARES funds, I know we are purchasing a lot of technology. Is there a guarantee that all of that technology is going to be available to us? Because I know all districts all over are ordering technology, in case we go hybrid. So how does that play into, if we do plan to go back in January, will we have all that technology ready?
Yes, ma'am. We work closely with the IT department and purchasing to procure whatever technology needs that we have. Just if you recall the conversations about headphones, we just spent about almost $160,000 purchasing up to 8,000 headphones for students. So we have sources that we can go to, and at time when supplies, exceed, or demand exceeds supplies, you pay a little bit of a premium. But what's important is we need to get the technology in the hands of the students in a timely manner, so that they can learn. So we have been doing that, and we will be doing that.
Thank you. And I just have one more question. How much of the money is going into professional development to help teachers, navigate, virtual learning? Because I know a lot of our teachers are spending their own money, ring lights, monitors, headphones. Are we giving any of that money to teachers to support them?
So we work closely with the union on that, and yes, we have provide 3 additional furlough days as part of this. On top, I'm sorry, not furlough days, 3 additional professional development days. What I'm thinking with this. On top of that, we restored the 4 furlough days for PD. So basically, the teachers got 7 professional development days back, and we were able, through the board approval, work with the union on a stipend that would support teachers for out-of-pocket expenses such as supplies, or whatever expenses arise out of the need for them to conduct instructions at home. So we have done both.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because as we continue virtual learning, we're sitting down a lot. I've invested money in doing one of those desks that pops up and down, because you just get really tired of sitting down. Your neck gets hurt looking at monitors and stuff. So I'm glad that we're supporting the teachers in the classroom with that, because it is tiring to be on the computer and sitting down all day long. We're used to walking around. So thank you, Tuan. Thank you for that. That's it, Madam President.
Thank you. I also want to make a comment. We know that this pandemic has truly created challenges for all students, and that some of our students within ABC have been hit the hardest. those being students listed specifically in the LCFF, and those that we have, I think one of the lists, the numbers was about $18 million to serve, in addition to our special ed program students. So recently I participated in a CSLBA, which is the Latino fraction of the School Boards Association, and they had a unity conference. And I was really moved by a presenter that I missed because I worked during the day, but was intrigued by his topic. And he has a variety of books, professor from, I believe, UCSB, Dr. Victor Rios, no relation. But he really asks us to reframe our thinking and even our language. And I really, I haven't read the book. I started to browse through it. But, we used to call the students at risk, and now the state wants us to call them high risk. Well, he wants us to think of them as at promise students. Because, here at ABC, we get to see firsthand how students who probably were labeled high risk, at risk, do go on to do amazing things. We got to hear most recently from those students at Tracy who, with the right support, have a very promising future ahead. I like to think that all of our students have that in them, have that potential. And so going to start asking that question a lot more often about how are we using that money and how are we servicing these students, and are we seeing the results that we need to see that's going to allow these students to enjoy a better future. I'm a product of that. I think many of us had challenging beginnings, but as a result of a quality education, have achieved much success. And so I think every student in our district deserves that. In addition, I do appreciate the comments by our president, ABCFT President Ray Gare, about the sanitizing, and that, hope that some of this money again is also being used to provide that kind of support at our schools. I know that students are not back yet, but we do have teachers. And I think that sanitizer dispensers are a great idea and would go a long way in mitigating the spread. So that is it. With that, I hear no more comments. We're going to close this public hearing and ask for a roll call.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yes.
Mr. Law, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say, Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu,
Yes.
motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the first interim report for the 2020-2021 fiscal year with a positive certification and budget adjustment as reflected?
So moved by Sophia.
Second, Sue.
Mr. Nguyen?
Thank you, Board President Rios. Again, the board approved the budget back in June. And if you recall, in August, there was a budget revision for the first time because the state have made many changes to the budget. So the board approved a revised budget in August. And now this is the first update. You normally see it in December, but because our board meeting is in December, is December 15th, which is later than usual, you are seeing it tonight in November. So this is the first update since the August budget revision that you approved to the budget. So we are taking this opportunity to look at our revenues and expenditures to make sure that it's still in line with the budget and make any adjustment that we need to. So there are some minor adjustments that I want to go over with you quickly, beginning on page 48. So the LCFF funding of revenues decreased by $115,000. That is a net decrease, and the number is provided to us by the county. So it just the adjustment from the county and the state. There is a decrease of federal revenues of $280,000, but that is just a reclassification because you see that that same amount is increase in local revenues. So what the county is telling us now is that that dollar amount is not to be accounted for under the federal revenue anymore, but rather the local revenue. So it's just a moving from one category to the next, but there's really no change other than the $115,000 decrease in LCFF funding. Along with that, there are revisions in the expenditures with the decrease in expenditures in the salaries and benefits and also operating expenses. As we go through the year, we have not opened in persons, so there are savings in terms of substitute costs, and then there's other costs relating to operating the school district. So the total decrease in expenditures of about $1.2 million. However, there is an increase of the other financing source and use, or basically the transfer out of about $1.1 million. And we need to make this transfer to support the EDP program. As you recall, we do not currently operate the EDP program that normally we would bring in about $2 million of revenues from fees from parents. However, we still have many of the EDP teachers that we kept on because we did not let go of any of permanent employees. So because of that, we have to basically increase the contribution or the encroachment of that program to support that program. However, let me go to the bottom line. The bottom line is that we are still going to close the year in the unrestricted general fund in the positive. So we will not be deficit spending this year in the general fund, both unrestricted and restricted programs. So speaking of restricted, moving on to page 49 then, again, there's adjustments, again, additional revenues coming in from the state. We get 2 new grants, the IEEP grant and also the Strong Workforce grant from the state. So we provide the expenditures accordingly to match with the grant. But overall, the restricted expenditures and revenues also in the positive, meaning that we will not be deficit spending on the restricted programs also. The page that you should be interested in is the 3-year projections, and that beginning on page 53, because not only that we have to, the law require that we have to have a balanced budget in the current year, but over the next 2 years, we should have enough funds to pay all the bills and meet all the obligations. And as you can see on page 53, under the line, it would say net change. We will be start deficit spending next year and the year after that. The current year ADA is hold harmless by the state, but enrollment wise, we are down about 700 students. So the impact will hit the 3rd year out, which is the 22-23 school year. So unless we recover some of those lost students, and we know that many, or at least half of those, more than half of those students, we lost because of COVID-19. There are inter-district permit students that we lost about 200 or so of them. There are TK and kindergarten students that the families choose to keep them at home. So this year, our enrollment has declined about 700 students. Due to the hold harmless provision from the state, it will not impact the current year or next year budget, but the 3rd year out, that's where we project to negative spend about $4 million. So that is where we are with the budget. But even with the negative spending in 3rd year, we still have sufficient reserve to meet all obligations and meet the state minimum 3% reserve. We are currently have, and as I reported to the board, about 10% in reserve, or about $21 million. So the first interim report is that we will not be deficit spending this year, and we have about 10% in reserve. And for this year and the next 2 years, we will have sufficient funds to meet all financial obligation of the district. So therefore, we are requesting the board to approve the first interim report with a positive certification. And that's what it means. We have sufficient funds to meet all obligations for the current year and the next 2 years. That is the end of my report, Madam President.
Okay, thank you for that report. At this time, do we have any public comments?
There is none, Madam President.
Any discussion?
I do.
Okay, Member Apodaca?
Do you want to go in order? Or do you want to?
Well, I don't know if people have We'll start with you, and if other people have, then yeah, I'll start going through the roll call.
Thank you, Madam President. Really quick. One, I thought, Tuan, we were going to get away from using the word encroachment, but I'm just teasing you. For the under the CARES Act, so those were PPP funds we requested, correct?
So the CARES Act can be used under the bigger umbrella of learning loss mitigations. So anything to support that, including the purchasing of technologies and PPE.
And just so we're clear, that is completely separate from the LCFF as far as the funding formula.
That is correct, sir. The LCFF is a state funding formula. The CARES Act is one-time coronavirus relief funds from the federal government.
Right. And so we have under the, I'm more concerned right now with seeing that we're going to go into deficit spending. And I'm very interested in seeing how we're going to offset that. Really quick, have we spoken to our health carriers about a COVID rebate?
That's a great question, because we just have a health benefits committee meeting today at 1 o'clock, and that very subject came up.
Is that Burnham?
Burnham is the consultant helping us, but the
broker, right?
Right, and that the broker, and the committee is made up of members of union groups, different groups, the 4 labor groups, ABCFT, CSEA, APSME, and the management group. So I believe there's 11 members in that committee. So the conversation, 2/3 of our members belong to Kaiser. So when we talk to Kaiser about that, Kaiser is a nonprofit hospital, but somehow lately they operate very much like a for-profit. They're saying that a lot of their costs are fixed, and that 65% of the costs relating to ABC pertain to 5% of the employees that have severe illness, and therefore there's not much saving from COVID-19. So don't expect a big rebate. That basically verbatim, that's what they told us. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to fight, and we're going to ask them to prove every numbers that they want to charge us or not giving us a rebate. But the other carrier is Blue Shield, and they've been very, very, very cooperative. They've been go over the board, but with a lot of telehealth offers and a lot of services, and also true with Kaiser. If you have member of Kaiser, they have many services supporting employees right now. And one of the things focus was about how do they support employees' mental health, and that was part of the discussions. And they have many features to do that, and we will have more workshop on that also. But, but back to your point, we will look into healthcare as a saving for the 3rd year out.
Okay, and what I'd like to, the reason why I bring it up is, I oversee as an administrator for my company, and we went to bat with, we have Anthem Blue Cross, and I guess, but our workforce, we haven't had a claim over $5,000. So obviously they were more generous in giving us a rebate. I'd also like, if the board's amenable or the incoming board, to bring this up again. It concerns me that we'd go into deficit spending $1.7 million next year, $4 million the year after that, especially in this climate. So I'd like to be able to discuss this, especially when it comes to our workforce, our teachers, our employees, to make sure that, that deficit spending doesn't grow, but at the same time having a practical compromise and solution to make sure we don't let anybody go. And that's the only comment I have on this. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have other comments?
Yes.
Okay, Board Clerk, you?
Yes. So, Tuan, first of all, you are a wonder worker trying to you seem to be able to balance the budget amazingly. Thank you very much for that work. I think the concern is the 700 students enrollment decline. I know that this is not only true for ABC, but I know that for other districts too. Because I have friends in Fullerton, and they told me they have a sharp decline too, just one reason or the other. And I think that we don't know what the future holds. There are so many factors, but I think that this is something that our board, we do need to look into in the coming months, seems like, to prepare for the next few years.
So I just wanted to bring that up. And again, thank you, Tuan, for making so much effort to balance the budget. Mhm.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam President,
Board Member Nishi?
I have a question. Page 49 regarding the restricted general fund. Looks like we had a net change in fund balance increased by almost $1 million. What is the main cause of that?
So thank you for the question. So as I mentioned, right, we received 2 grants, the Strong Workforce Grant and the I can't remember the Inclusive Early Childhood Grant, the IEEP. So we got the money this year, but we will not be able to spend all of it this year. So that's when you see an increase of that. So what will happen is that then we'll spend it down next year. So there's always going to be a timing issue with all grants, and depends on when we get the money and how long do we have to spend. Some grants allows us 1 year to spend, some allow 2, some allows up to 3. So that because of that timing issue on the restricted side, you will always see that. But just remember, the restricted money is not really your money, not the school board money. It's been restricted by the grantor, and it must be spent, with the condition provided in the grant. So if you see any money there, increase or decrease, it's good to know, but it's dictated by the grant and not the local school board, because it's restricted. So the name
Right.
implied.
So I understand the federal monies are restricted a certain way. What are some of the other restrictions? Because it looks like we have about 14 million in this restricted fund.
Yeah.
But we do spend money out of this restricted funds for salaries and employee benefits and books and supplies. So what are some of the restrictions that are there in the restricted fund?
So that's a good question, and we can have a report and see what made up of the 14 million. Instructional materials, it could be restricted for that under the lottery programs. Special education, mostly restricted. All federal programs are restricted. Like I said, any grants coming down from the states, from the ACES grant, the after school grant, to the new grants, the Strong Workforce grant that we received, they all restricted. And that's why the restriction there. So
they're not restricted in terms of you can't spend it. They're just restricted in how you spend it.
Correct.
So like
Thank you for
if we
the
wanted to build a building and it was not allocated for a building, you can't spend that money. But if it was
Right.
allocated towards teaching English, then you can spend that money.
Correct. So the money comes with string attached. They will tell you how to spend the money, not that you can't spend the money. You can, and eventually you have to spend the money before the grant term is over. So the strings attached mean they will tell you, the state or the federal government, how to spend the money. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
that makes sense. If maybe someday in the future, I'd like to see how our restrictions are.
Yes.
What
yes.
those are.
And there's very restriction. It made up of at least 20 different grants with different restrictions. Yes, definitely.
That's all.
Okay, anyone else want to comment?
Yes, I do, President Olga.
Go ahead, board members, say.
Tuan, I want to thank you so much. Keep such a great reserve money for us. I mean, this is really, I saw the results on here as a fantastic compared to those years past. But I do too worry about the decline enrollment now, plus COVID-19. And that's really going to impact us on revenue, because we are in the future. I mean, I'm talking about the 1 to 2 years, the less revenue, the costs have to be less. Then we are going to be in a high risk and a deficit. Am I right?
So yes, anytime you have declining enrollment, you will get less money from the state. So you try to cut costs to offset the reductions in revenues, but you could never cut enough costs to offset that. So you would have to make cuts up somewhere else, or normally you would rely on the increase in COLA or additional funding from the state to offset that. But because of COVID-19, state revenues have been down drastically. They not only not able to give it any COLA increase, they make us take deferral. So that even make it more challenging. So like I said, we are safe this year, and next year it's the third year out that we need to start planning and
Right.
and be ready for that. But I just want to make a point that the deficit dollar amount is as of today, as of November 17th.
Right.
Comes January, when the governor proposed the budget for next year, it will change. And then June, when the state adopt their budget, it will change. So it's a live document, it's fluid, and it is subject to change, and it will change. And that's why the board get frequent update, first interim, second interim, estimated actuals, budget, unaudited actual. You see almost every other month, you see an update from us, keeping you informed and current of the budget situation.
Thank you for keeping us updated. Thank you.
Sorry. Does anybody else have comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yes.
Mr. Law, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the annual and 5-year developer fee report for the fiscal year 2019-2020?
So move, Sue.
Second, Mendoza.
Mr. Wen?
Thank you, Board President Rios. This is an annual report that we are required to take it to you, again, usually in December, but this year you see it a little bit early. What this report requires the district to report out is how much developer fees that we collected, how much did we spend, and what is the remaining fund balance in there. So if you go to page 116, it will have all that information. So under page 116, item D, we collect about $529,000 in fees. On top of that, we earn interest about $86,000. So total revenues for the developer fees fund is about $623,000. We spent about $46,000 out of this fund, and this fund is also restricted, and the wording is very simple. It is for the constructions or reconstructions of school facilities. So anything under that umbrella, you can spend it out of here. Again, construction or reconstruction of school facility. So the money that we spent there basically supporting the GAR tennis court. That's been a project that was approved by the board, and that's not part of their bond fund that was before that. So it will most likely come out of here. So item C above the D there, at the end of the school year, we have about $5.3 million in there in this fund. Again, this fund is here. It's here as a cushion for any shortfall in facility needs or any unexpected facility needs that we would have to come up with, and that's what the money's for. So to report it out, this fund, as of June 30th, 2020, we have about $5.3 million in the developer fees funds. That's the end of my report, Madam President.
Interesting. Okay, do we have any public comments?
No, there are none.
Discussion?
Yes.
Board Member Nishi?
Yes. So I have a kind of a basic question. If I was to build a house and I had to pay the fees, and it was say 500 square feet, how much would I pay? Because I know we just increased the fees. How much more, or how much would I be paying roughly?
So with the new rate that
with the old rate first, and then
the old rate is $3 per square feet. So $3 per square feet. If you build a 500 additional square footage, then it would be $3 times that. So it'll be about $1,500.
Okay.
Right, $2.97. It's on page 115. The current rate for residential is about $3. So it would be $1,500. So the new rate is about $4. So that would be $2,000.
Oh, okay. All right. And so this $5 million could be spent on facilities improvements. what is the estimate that they had for a swimming pool repair at Artesia?
So we have done all repair already at the port at Artesia. We have annual maintenance now. I was talking about with the principal on that today. They are using that to do some conditioning and practice. So the pool at Artesia is in full function mode, and the repairs are up to date. There was a conversations about enlarging the pool or maybe another pool, but in terms of repair, all the repairs on the pool at Artesia is current and up to date.
Well, the only thing I had was I remember when I was knocking on doors that it was not legal for water polo because you could stand up in the shallow end. So is there any plan in the future to remedy that? Because we only have like 2 pools in the district, right? We have one at Cerritos Park East, and then the Artesia pool.
Right. So the Artesia pool is just a practice pool, and it's not a CIF compliant pool. The pool at CP does not belong to the district. It belongs to the city. We just
Right.
have an agreement with them, and we are in the bind because you may or may not know that they are renovating the pool right now. So due to COVID, there's not a lot of activities there, but should there be, we would have to scramble and find a place for our students to practice. We only have one pool in the entire district, and that's Artesia, and that's an older pool, and it's not up to any CIF standard. It's
Right.
just a practice pool.
What would it cost to bring it to CIF standards?
If you were to ask me that, my recommendation would be just build a new one at another high school and have that. Instead of just repairing that and bring it to the standard, the cost is almost as much, or it's not,
Got it.
wise. It's not effective to do that. Rather, if that's something the board is interested to have a conversation, my recommendation is looking to build one at GAR or Cerritos and
Okay.
have that. So at least you have 2 rather than just bring that to standards.
No, I get it. I figured that as well. I mean, to dig a big, huge, to make it standard, it would be cost prohibitive. But how much is something like that?
Fixing or new pool?
No, new pool.
New pool. Depends. West Covina just did it for $20 million.
Oh my God.
The bare minimum is $8 million. That's the bare minimum. And the bond program manager is going to be, if he listened to me, he's like, oh, he shouldn't even venturing any number. But I have heard from my colleagues that the bare minimum is $8 million. The issue with ABC is that our water table is really high. If you start digging, water will come out after, I don't know, 6 feet, 8 feet. So they will have to do a lot of reinforcing for a major pool to come in. So if you ask me for a number, Mr. Nishi, it'll be, I'm going to say $10 million to build a pool, basically.
Thank you. I mean, because it sounds like we have no legal pool per CIF standards. I'm not a swimmer, but I mean, I guess the Cerritos pool doesn't count because we don't own it. But in any event, I applaud your resourcefulness in making sure our kids can have a place to swim in the interim. So thank you. And like I said,
So
I remember knocking. The thing is, I remember knocking on doors and asking, telling them, hey, we don't have any legal pools here. And so I'm hoping sometime in the future we can remedy that.
So at our, you just saw the presentation on Artesia and Whitney. The next 2 high school is Cerritos and GAR. And I believe that the principals there are very interested into having that conversation. So we'll keep the board informed.
Thank you.
That.
Any other comments? Discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yes.
Mr. Law, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. At this time, we will move on to board member reports, and I will go down the list. So first up is Vice President Mendoza.
Thank you, Madam President. So this will be my last board report as a board member. So I first want to thank all of you. Thank all of you for your friendship, for working with me. I also want to thank everyone for the beautiful gifts that I received today. Thank you for the cake, the flowers. ABC Management Association sent me some flowers. Dr. Apodaca sent me my favorites, some roses. So thank you so much. Before I leave, I just want to leave with some suggestions, some things to ponder as you continue with the new board, as we go into, considering we're going to be possibly doing hybrid. First and foremost, we know that the safety of our students is the highest priority. And students can't come back unless staff feels safe coming back to campus. As a teacher, I'm looking at my district. What is my district doing to make me feel safe? And I think the conversation is going very well, but there's one thing that's missing from the conversation, and there's testing. We can't ask our staff and our students to go back if we don't have access to testing for our families. In the event that somebody, is test positive, where are families going to go? Where do they go? I know I have Kaiser, and just to get an appointment with Kaiser is hard enough. LA County has been really, really progressive about getting testing sites. What are we doing in our side of town to do that? And somewhere that it's close by for our families to do that. So I would hope that when you have that conversation, that you please include that for our families. Another thing, if we're asking our families to go hybrid, I think the board needs to be an example and start going, having part of the board being in person. We can't be virtual and asking our families to go back, and we're still doing virtual board meetings. I think that's a conversation that you need to have. We need to be the models for our families and our students. If we want them to feel safe at school, we also need to show them that we feel safe doing maybe half hybrid and virtual. Another thing that I would suggest for you is that the equity officer, I know you can have that conversation. That person needs to be either someone of color or someone who's multilingual, someone who looks like our students, someone that our families are going to feel comfortable going to and talking to, really sensitive issues. So don't be surprised if I show up during public comment to, make suggestions, because I think it's very, very important. Dr. Rios has worked really hard on putting this committee together and making sure we have somebody in our district. And I know it's gonna come at a price. Everything comes at a price, but we wanted a case officer, and we have Scott Smith. When there's a need, when the community has a need, we make it work. Looking at Juan right now, we make it work. We find the funds, we make it work if that's something that our community really, really wants. And then lastly, I want to wish, like I always do, wish everyone a happy Diwali. This month is also National Native American Month, and I want to thank Scott Smith for really recognizing all of these different cultures and putting it on our, social media and making sure that we recognize the diversity in our district. And with that, I want to say happy and safe Thanksgiving. We know that our COVID rate is going up, and we all need to do our part to make sure we get back to school. We get our families, we get our staff back to school, but it takes every single one of us, social distancing, wearing our mask, washing our hands. We are all part of this community. So if we want to get back, we all got to do our part. And with that, I want to wish you all happy, safe Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you so much for an amazing 5 years. I know I got emotional, and it's because I'm really passionate. I'm passionate about what I did in the last 5 years. Students first, making sure our teachers, our staff have what they need. So I'm gonna miss you guys, but I'll be watching. I'm still gonna be a part of, my son's still in school, my daughter's at GAR. So, but thank you. Buenas noches, felicidades, y adios.
Thank you for that. Board Clerk Yu?
Yes, thank you, Madam President.
first of all, I wanted to share about the amazing work that we are doing with the virtual learning. Because when I shared with, I won't mention the district, with my friend's daughter who teaches at one of the neighboring districts about the fact that we have to have 75% satisfaction, she was shocked. She was surprised because in her district, they had parents, just coming to the board meeting to demand open the school. But then again, when you open without being so prepared, you have to shut down again because your school is in the purple zone. And I just want to take this time to thank our district, Dr. with the leadership of Dr. Sue, Dr. Valencia Mayfield, Dr. Zitlow, and Christina Wise, and our, president, our union, Ray Gear, just working and collaborating to really be efficient, not going back and forth without preparation, but doing the work, for not reacting to the circumstances and the news and the community reactions, but being grounded, and having a vision and being focused on what our district's mission, which is achievement for all students. So I know that we spent so much time preparing for the hybrid, going in person, and we don't know what's ahead, but please continue the work, and because it's not just one type, one student, but it's all student, and we want to be sure before we change the plan, because that just messes up the education, the academic, and I'd rather wait a little bit. We can't go back anyways because we're on purple zone, but just to really be prepared, and just having the hand sanitizers, small bottles in every room, and I really appreciate what we have been doing. I know there's room for improvement. We still have so much work ahead, but I just wanted to applaud and just commend you all, our district, for doing great work. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I mean, I think that Thanksgiving is count the blessings with what we have. I mean, it's just really gloomy because we were just about getting ready to open up, getting out, meeting people. And now we're back to talking about lockdown. But I just wanted to share that in my neighborhood, we already decorated Christmas, especially the families with children. They've all decorated. And I think that we do need to do something special for the kids, liven up. And, we just have to be positive because, we're going to look back and say, hey, we all survived, right? So happy Thanksgiving. Even though we can't have big family gathering, make a special Thanksgiving. It's about valuing the family, your neighbors, and the community. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a great, rest of November. That is all.
Thank you. Dr. Apodaca?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to, again, wish Maynard and Vice President Mendoza the best of luck in their journeys moving forward. I have no doubt that I will be hearing from both of them, at the very least, from Vice President Mendoza. And I'm grateful to them for all their years of service and all the headaches. I also wanted to, with regards to the testing, talk about, I know we have an amazing relationship with Kaiser. They've helped us with grants, with wellness. They've sponsored the Leadership Institute for the middle schools. I'd like to see, or I don't know if we already are, collaborating with them on what we would do or how to handle people coming in that don't have insurance if somebody we think was exposed, and perhaps make that public or promote it more to the public, what our response plan is. It seems like no matter where you are right now, what safeguards you take, somebody at that organization or institution still ends up coming down with COVID, and it spreads like wildfire. I'm speaking from experience from sites in our company where all it takes is one person and all of a sudden the whole office has it. So I'd like to know how we're promoting that more. And then just so we have resources for families in different languages. just in case where they can go the same day. I think that's very important. Also, I did want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And for those of you who don't have a place to go, we do have here in Hawaiian Gardens places where they're serving Thanksgiving dinner until about 4 o'clock. I believe the Way Out Ministries here, they'll be socially distanced, but they offer the full dinner. And I believe Dandy De Paula is also having a turkey giveaway, courtesy of Supervisor Janice Hahn. I'd also like to thank Mr. De Paula from Dandy and Friends for the thousands of masks that he donated to our district. I'd also like to thank Mr. Francisco Noyola and Mr. Pablo Vega, who helped Dandy out, and Mr. Vega used his truck to bring all of those masks over. And of course, Dr. Sue for being there to welcome it and make sure that it happened. I'm sorry I couldn't make it there, but I was so happy to see the pictures. That said, I really do wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And if there's anything that we can do here at the district as things wind down for the year, let us know. For Dana, I'll probably see you guys there tomorrow at 3:30 for the protest. That's all I have, Madam President. Thank you.
Board Member Law? Okay, Board Member Nishi?
Yes, Madam President. So I actually also think that's a good idea in terms of testing as part of the whole strategy of addressing if and when we go back to school. I remember actually, I took a COVID test and they lost my results. And I can't imagine people waiting in that long line at Dodger Stadium for hours and hours and days. I'd give up. I mean, that's an impossible situation. So I think it is a good idea to have a combination of testing and cleanliness. That's a long-term solution, actually, where we not just, like you said, a bottle, but a station where it's permanently there, that we are always going to be washing our hands, because we don't want to catch the flu even. I remember Dr. Sue had that as a great initiative way back when, to make sure that we all attend school and none of us get sick. And that's a really important thing to do. So your legacy, Letty, will continue on, just like Maynard's will continue on with all the new things that we're going to be having here. And your kids will get to enjoy it too. And as it relates to the harassment, and I do believe that we need probably education. We're doing it, some of it already, right? We have peace builders. We have different avenues by which we're building bridges to understand what is harassment, what it isn't. And so it's not just finding the specific situation, but it's also in general as part of our educational thing. And ethnic studies is kind of part and parcel of this whole understanding that we can't be mean to each other. We can't be bullies. We can't sexually be bullies either. So I think we are going in the right direction. And, I credit your leadership along with Letty's and Maynard's for keeping us going on this particular path. And happy Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna necessarily have I'm actually probably not gonna have a Thanksgiving dinner with everybody together. I'll adapt, and we'll do something different. Oh, one more last thing. So this is kind of a commercial. There's a holiday toy drive on December 12th, 11 a.m. to 2 at the Whitney High School parking lot. This is going to be a really trying year. We know that a lot of people have lost their jobs. There's a high unemployment. There's just some struggling families out there, and some of us are not affected at all. So if you have anything a little bit extra, if you can drive on over to Whitney on December 12th at 11 a.m., I'm sure we can find a way to, an unwrapped toy would be really appreciated with the additional families that really need that particular help. So if anybody can find the heart to do that, and please do so. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Board Member Say.
To Vice President Mrs. Mendoza and Board Member Maynard. In American, we say goodbye, but Chinese, we say 再见. 再见 means I'll see you again. So I don't say goodbye, I'll say I'll see you again, see you around. And take care of your family. I think that's, you must feel relief a lot for that matter. And then also congratulations on your promotion. And for me, Thanksgiving, I still have a family get together, but this year we changed it. Instead of the dinner, I mean like 3, 4 o'clock, we changed the morning. 11 to 12 will be in the backyard. So we keep our social distance. And it is not safe for this coming 1 or 2 months because you get confused COVID-19 or you have a fluid. And it's a tough. So this is to all the community for our ABC school district people. I want you to remind you once again, it's not a safe month, not a safe 1 or 2 months. Please be careful, good hand washing. If you have to, you will even wear shields, especially if you go to the public area when you go pick up the food or do something, be careful, be careful, be careful. Always, I keep 1 bottle in my car. So the minute I get into the car, I kind of use the alcohol gel right away. For the school district, I will work with Josie again for recommending some of the hand washing things, the gel, hand gel. I don't think we should have the pump one. We should really have a sensor one. Instead of touching the pump, we should use just a hand sensor. And I spoke to Josie already before, so I will do the follow-up of that. But again, I want to say to everyone here, happy Thanksgiving. The most important is safe and take care of you and good health. Thank you, President. I want to let you know you did a tremendous job in the last year. You are awesome, and I really admire you. Control everything so well, so dearly, and great job, Dr. Rios.
Here, here.
And all the suspense to who I will pass the baton on to, right? Okay, so my turn. I do want to speak also to today's meeting, and I want to start by saying that, here at ABC, we have much to celebrate and many successes that we can all participate in taking credit for. We also have challenges, and our job as a governing board is primarily to set policy. However, we all take much pride in our commitment to listening to our constituents. The issue of sexual harassment has been consistently raised, telling me and probably the rest of you that much remains to be done. There is obviously a gap in what we understand has been resolved and what the community perceived has been resolved or has happened. On our end, I think we have tried to be responsive to the issue and had conversations with our superintendent, with our cabinet, with our staff, but perception is reality. So I appreciate the invitation to the event tomorrow. I hear loud and clear that this issue remains. And so I want to task our staff, our superintendent, to set up a meeting so that we begin to move forward with this topic and understand and really figure out where is that gap. Because again, on our end, we think we have a system in place that should allow students to feel safe. But the fact that this is, they're having a protest tells me that, there's an issue out there and maybe there's more to be done. So know that we are very interested in, again, forging a path forward and work so that our students and community know that sexual harassment is not behavior that is tolerated in our school. We want our students to feel safe, valued, and respected, regardless of gender identification. So with that, the last thing I do want to also join my colleagues in wishing everyone a very happy Thanksgiving and our entire ABC community. Announcements, next regular board meeting will be Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, 7 p.m. virtually. I want people to know that we did start to have conversation about having an in-person meeting because we wanted to lead the way. And but also also it would have been a great opportunity to welcome our new board members in person. However, we are people that are conscious of science and adhering to the LA County Department of Health. And as you've heard mentioned, things are a bit scary right now. So our first and foremost priority is to look out for the safety of everyone. So with that, also please, I ask you to adhere to the recommendations of the LA County Department of Health and to be safe, ABC, during this holiday season. Committee meetings, Finance and Audit Board Advisory Committee will be Thursday, November 19th, 2020, 6 p.m. It'll be a virtual meeting. Dates to remember is that we will be observing a fall break, November 23rd to the 25th. and the Thanksgiving holiday, November 26th and 27th. Are there any public comments, Madam Clerk?
There is no public comments.
Okay,
Madam
with that, may
President.
I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved by
moved.
Sophia.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Apodaca,
Yes.
Mr. Law, Mrs. Mendoza,
Yes.
Mr. Nishi,
Yes.
Dr. Rios,
Yes.
Mrs. Say,
Yes.
Mrs. Yu.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. Good night, all.
Good night. Thank you,
Stay
everyone.
safe, everyone.
Good night.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Maynard.
Take care.
Thanks, Dr. Sue.